What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Kinda Sprite YouTube channel. Maybe I should start pronouncing it Kinda Sprite because that's pretty clever, but that's not the topic of today's video. In today's video, I want to talk about My Hero Academia, which might be one of the most overrated, underrated, I don't even know anymore, series of all time. And I'm going to tell you all, I was wrong about My Hero Academia for the longest time. Considering my friend group, I've never really been into My Hero Academia, really any shonen type anime, because not really anybody in my friend group is really into shonen anime, and I myself never really cared for shonen anime, and I never really tried to dip my toes into the action genre, mostly because of the fan bases and everything. I felt like the fan bases were too rowdy and everything, and I was basically one of those mindless drones that judge a show based off a fan base, and not actually giving the show a chance. First ever shonen anime I watched was JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, which I watched over Christmas around that time in 2022. And while the show was definitely enjoyable, there was drama with a friend of mine who was a huge fan of the series that ended up leading to me dropping the show, not wanting to complete it for personal reasons, and I never actually got back to it. I consider it about a 7 or an 8 out of 10. Now, My Hero Academia has always been one of the most shit-on shows in my friend group, by far, because of the fan base supposedly being pretty bad, although I personally cannot provide any examples of the fan base being bad whatsoever, and also because it was just one of those really popular shows, kind of like Attack on Titan, or Full Metal Alchemist, stuff like that. That was two of the reasons why I never bothered to give My Hero Academia a shot. But what finally allowed me to give it a shot was my friend actually watching a couple episodes of the show, because a friend of theirs, recommended it, and I think streamed it in a VC or something like that on Discord. I don't know. But they watched 2 episodes and actually kind of liked it. I scoffed at the thought of this, because, who the fuck would enjoy My Hero Academia? I genuinely did not think it was going to be a good show. But eventually, I decided, you know what, fuck it, I've got nothing else to watch. I'm going to go ahead and, give My Hero Academia a shot. And so, about a week or 2 ago, I finally watched the show, and I wasn't expecting something actually good. I genuinely was expecting this to be garbage that I would drop after maybe 2 or 3 episodes, but that's not what happened whatsoever. This is a show that I genuinely enjoyed. Season 1 is more of an introductory to your characters and the plot than anything else, but the comedy, I wouldn't call it peak comedy by any means, but there's definitely the funny moments in this show that made me laugh. I loved a lot of the characters. They're all pretty hard to hate. I mean, one of the characters that I did hate, Bakugo, I felt like he improved by the end of the season. Not by a whole lot, but there's definitely improvement to be made. I quickly got into Season 2, which was twice as long as Season 1, and for good reason, because this mostly envelops 2 different arcs, I could say. But there's a sports festival in the first half of Season 2. There's internships in the second half. I rated both seasons a 10 out of 10, but Season 2 easily sleeps Season 1, by far. Season 2 was honestly one of the most entertaining pieces of media that I've ever watched, and the reason why I have My Hero Academia Season 2 above Clannad on my favorites, which I never thought I'd actually do in my life, is because while Clannad is still the better show in my opinion, after all, I wouldn't when I have to say it's no longer the best anime I've ever seen after my review of it only being out for a month, but on the entertainment factor, which is my biggest factor these days, My Hero Academia easily sweeps Clannad, because while Clannad is very entertaining, My Hero Academia is just more action-packed. Every episode, even in Season 1, which was less eventful than the second, every episode seems to go by in half the time that you're actually watching for. I mean, your average episode of My Hero Academia is going to be 24 minutes, but it really only feels like 15, if that. Maybe even 10 minutes. Usually, I find myself commonly checking the timestamps of the animes that I watch, because the episodes just go by so slowly that I don't know if it's ever going to end. But with My Hero Academia, you start one episode, boom, already finished the first season. What the fuck? That's overall my thoughts on the first 2 seasons. Yes, there are 4 more seasons that I still have to watch, and eventually going to be 5 once Season 7 actually gets officially announced, with a date announced and everything. But over the first 2 seasons, I've been very satisfied with what I've watched, honestly. And I actually do recommend this show. There are 2 big reasons I've heard from people why they don't like My Hero Academia or why they dropped it. The first and foremost biggest reason is Deku, the main character of the series. They call him a crybaby and everything. And I do understand this. Especially in the first half of Season 1, he's definitely a pretty big crybaby. I feel like with Deku, it's very much understandable why he's as emotional as he is. Because, I mean, in a world where 80% of people are born with quirks, Deku's among the 20%, which is a very slim amount, that don't have a quirk at all. All he wanted to ever do was be a hero, and because he doesn't have a quirk, he can't do that. And his biggest hero, All Might, was the one who saved him and told him that he could be a hero. And even, spoilers ahead, he even gave Deku some of his power, one for all. Of course, Deku's gonna be very emotional about all this, and having to adjust to this new life so quickly, going from zero to hero so fast. And another major reason why a lot of people don't seem to like the series has to do with the fan base being not so great, supposedly. Like I said, I have not seen any examples of the fan base being less favorable than others, but I don't think that a bad fan base should deter you from a piece of media, whether it's going to be a good piece of media or not. You should give it a chance, regardless of what the fan base is like. And I decided to swallow my hatred for the fan base, even though I didn't even know what they were like. And I actually really ended up liking it. It's kind of a shame that 90% of the time I do try to talk about the series on Discord, I get shit on for it, say, oh, you're an MHA fan, blah blah blah. Kind of the reason why I stopped having a MHA profile picture, because it's basically just asking to get bullied or having your opinion discarded because, ew, My Hero fan. Of course, not all fans are going to be the same. There is going to be My Hero Academia fans that are perfectly normal and, in fact, really good people. Just like how there's going to be fans that are just absolutely wild, bonkers, ridiculous. And you know what? That applies to all fan bases, really. Overall, based off the first 2 seasons, My Hero Academia has been a really good show. And even if the future seasons down the line are not as great, I'm still going to have a lot of appreciation for this show, and it's not going to deter me from saying that you absolutely should check this series out. In my opinion, Season 2 itself is just so good, and the development throughout Season 2 is so amazing. I definitely feel like even if the future seasons are dull, Season 2 is still worth checking out. And if you don't like Season 1, or you're kind of on the fence about Season 1, I still recommend giving at least Season 2 a try. Season 2 has certainly hooked me into remaining on the MHA hype train for a few more seasons to come, and I can't wait to see what Season 7 has to offer once that's out. Once I catch up to it, of course. But that's my thoughts on My Hero Academia. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.